The truth will set you free, with Hector Melo.
For centuries, we have thought that ancient men were ignorant, cowards, and liars. We had accused them of being believers of nonsenses and not in facts. But have you ever wondered about the psychological aspect of those ancient men? Today, we're going to study this theory deeply. Stay tuned. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to The Truth Will Set You Free. Once you do that, now we are ready to proceed. There exists a serious existential cosmic reality concerning the psychological aspect of the early human. Since all the lies come from a truth, all the legends were inspired by real events, and all the myths were created to explain events that occur in our planet Earth. Our real history is the same story under various interpretations. Our real history is the same story under various interpretations. Remember that a Santa Claus character did not arise as a very smiling old plump with elegant bird dressed in red and carrying a huge bag of toys. At the beginning, this character was not dressed in a red and white outfit, nevertheless had a sledge pulled by flying reindeers, and certainly never lived at the North Pole with Mrs. Claus and his assistants the Pixies. Every true story becomes a legend through the years, and persons becomes characters. Legends and myths evolve as people grow and develop. The truth is that all religions that have existed, as well all the legends, myths, and beliefs, are based on accounts of real events from the past that some on this planet still do not want to admit or acknowledge. All the civilizations of antiquity agree in one thing, and this is also what we found in all religions and legends of antiquity. This is the fact about the intelligent beings came from the stars in the past, cosmic teachers, thinkers, and wise beings. Actual facts that were misinterpreted and diverted from the truth, but inspired by existential base. The visit of beings from the stars is not a secret to everyone, but on the contrary, this information is known by certain authorities and powerful elites of Earth. Such is the case of the religious institutions, as the Roman Catholic Church. Many unexplained phenomena were misinterpreted as miracles by the mere fact of being incomprehensible to our understanding of the witnesses. Among these poorly interpreted phenomena could be several sightings of UFOs or extraterrestrial beings in the past. Today, we evaluated many of these historical phenomena, and they turned out to be more UFO sightings than miracles performed by a supreme deity. Remember that most of the content discussed on the Truth Will Set You Free channel are material taken from the book What Really Happened by Hector Melo. The same can be found by clicking on Hector Melo's book icon at the home page of this channel, or by clicking on the link found on the description of this video. What Really Happened recounts the secret history of humanity and reveals the true identity of the gods of antiquity. You may also find other books being written by this author, including his Anunnaki saga, Anunnaki the Creation, Anunnaki War of Gods, and Anunnaki the Rebellion. For these and more, please visit www.lulu.com. Unknown technologies cannot be explained by primitive beings at first glance, but it requires a transmission of knowledge, because no one can explain what is unknown by using unknown concepts. The one who describes or explains something does it with his own consciousness and their own interpretation according to his mentality. Each cosmic being has a psychological aspect which is succeeded by a genuine behavior. The psychological aspect of a prehistoric human being is not the same as the psychological aspect of a modern man. Each human, modern or primitive, can observe the same phenomenon, but the one who possesses greater knowledge may interpret it better and explain it accurately. The right person to describe something right is the one who has the right tools to describe that something. A person who had only seen stones throughout his whole life and nothing else must try to explain everything by using the concept of stones as a base for examples. Seeing stones is the best and the only thing known by him. No one can explain something unknown from what he does not understand or does not know. We usually explain phenomena based on what we know and understand. No one can explain a taste of an apple to someone who has never eaten one. So how it will do it? If we do not know the most basic things, we will not understand the complex things. If you are a fan of the ancient astronauts, the unknown and mystery, you will love to take a look at some cool stuff made for you. Just visit the official Hector Melo shop. You may find there items based on those characters that we love. The Anunnaki, the Alpha Centaurians, the Zeta Reticulans, the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Olympians, the Shivarus, and more. Please visit www.cafepress.com/shop/Hector Melo. Cool t-shirts, mugs, apparel, and more. www.cafepress.com/shop/Hector Melo. Imagine that we meet a prehistoric person who has only seen and touched stones through his whole life, and we try to show him a modern tablet, like the ones we have nowadays. Probably he will interpret that unknown technology as the following. The prehistoric man will say, "This is a stone of fire which emits lights." He can't describe geometric figures in an accurate way, so he cannot describe it as a rectangle, since for him the most similar thing to a modern tablet could be a flat white stone. The brightness and light that produced the tablet was misinterpreted by him as fire, since fire also emits light. Same as lightning does, he also interpreted the music as the sound emitted by the modern device as the sound made by a thunder. In all this, there is not miracle at all. The deities of the early ancient settlers were represented constantly in their artistic works. Drawings, engravings, and sculptures were made as interpretation by the artist of something that he saw and interpreted it according to his knowledge, or about some story that the artist heard from an eyewitness and interpreted it according to his knowledge also. Always remember that the psychological aspect of this ancient early human is not the same as the psychological aspect of someone of these modern times, since nowadays computing and technology is quite known. One of those famous people who sat on a UFO was Alexander the Great in 329 BCE. His testimony relates the following. He saw two great silver shields spitting fire around the rims in the sky that dived repeatedly at his army as they were attempting a river crossing. The action so panicked his elephants, horses, and men they had to abandon the river crossing until the following day. A few shields of circular and semi-spherical shape similar to a flying saucer. It could be misinterpreted visually as shields. We must remember that Alexander the Great interpreted those flying saucers as if they were shields, since a shield was the only thing he knew with its shape and made of metal. Remember our psychological aspect of the ancient man theory. Alexander the Great explained the unknown from something that he knew very well. Remember, subscribe to this channel, hit that button. Now we can continue. Unfortunately, the scientists, historians, and the religious leaders had ignored about the psychological aspect of the ancient man, and still today have a wrong perception toward those ancient civilizations, even dare to question their intelligence and skills. What an arrogancy! Remember to follow us on our social media: XCOM, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Don't forget to follow. Take for example the following text. The big snake was crawling fast. His eyes were like the sun and the moon together. His entrails were opened and his wounds were opening and closing. It was nothing stopping this big snake. She was feeding herself only on people. This monster was swallowing the man to his entrails. Then it was opening its wounds and men were escaping from it. Certainly the big snake frightens to everyone that sees it. Its croaking is like lightning. The day sun does not see it, and the night moon does not know it, since only in underworld it crawls with great terror. The previous text is the misinterpretation given by a primitive man about the current displayed image. What this ancient man saw was an ordinary subway train. This allegory is an excellent example that serves to understand how men of antiquity interpreted the events surrounding him. That is to say, a psychological aspect. For a person who had only seen snakes through his whole life, if we show him a picture of a subway train, the most logical thing to happen is that he will interpret it as a big snake, since nobody can explain what he does not know from something that he cannot understand. The eyes were like the moon and the sun. We have found ancient texts that use this comparison alike. In fact, it refers to the light placed at the head of the train, which emits a powerful resplendence and luminosity, such as the sun or the moon. It was opening its entrails and was swallowing the man. This is the description of the person tackling the train, since this one opened its doors so the passengers enter, and after they arrive at the destination, they go out from the same door or hatch. The sound compared with the lightning is simple, the noise that expresses the machinery of the train. And the nicest thing of all is the part in which it describes that the snake only crawls in the underworld. The later detail complements the description, since it tries to describe an underground train or a subway. Remember that everything, absolutely everything in the whole cosmos has an understandable, explainable, and logical explanation. This example seems pretty fun, but actually teaches an irrefutable truth and a very serious existential cosmic reality concerning the psychological aspect of the early human. Since all liars come from a truth, all the legends were inspired by real events, and all the myths were created to explain events that occurred in our planet Earth. Hi, this is Hector. If you really want to help us to make this channel to grow, you may consider making a donation to the Truth Will Set You Free PayPal account, which is hmelo25@yahoo.com. Thank you. We really appreciate your contribution. Whatever ancient text we discuss, no matter how old this text might be, our real history is the same story under various interpretations, thanks to the psychological aspect of ancient men. The psychological aspect of ancient man theory helps us to understand the different kinds of interpretations an early man may give to certain events sustained on his own surrounding reality. This reality forms his knowledge, perception, interpretation, and even his own beliefs. All of the religions created so far until nowadays are the result of this phenomena. Even the old telling stories about gods, angels, magical or divine beings coming from heaven to earth is a misinterpretation of an extraterrestrial visitation by ancient men, proven nowadays thanks to the psychological aspect of ancient man theory. The psychological aspect of ancient man theory is powerful indeed. This proves for once and for all that those civilizations of the past were not lying or inventing stories, but instead they were misinterpreting an event within its own reality. Please comment below. Thanks for watching The Truth Will Set You Free. See you next time.